hold down here.
I like to hold them just like, cause it's like almost like a stand right there.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, so I don't know. First
Weird.
podcast,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
First podcast.
The lights are a little intimidating sometimes.
Not
now
really.
people, now you understand
Lights.
why I wear sunglasses though. Like seriously, like
Cause the lights blind you.
yeah, they blind, and I have real sensitive eyes, so.
Yeah.
When he first put the thing on, I was like, yo, we're gonna have to turn the lights down because they're too
Bright.
I couldn't even look to the left.
I usually don't even use the lights anymore because I usually do them outside. But
Oh, true. Well, you did one on the boat.
did one on the boat, yeah, that was cool.
I saw the drinking one,
Yeah.
and then you guys had the buffalo.
Oh yeah,
Hot sauce
that
one?
was when we first started
That
with
was the
Bryce.
first
Yeah,
one.
that was the first one I think we ever did. That was funny because Bryce could not handle.
Yeah, I was
the
gonna
hot
say
shit, yeah.
Bryce has been on most of them,
Yeah.
and then there's one that I don't know what was with him. He was like on something. Or
Oh,
something.
dude, we had a bender that week. It was like 2 day
He
bendy.
was just like, I'm dying.
Yeah. Well, up north, dude, like you can't really fish in the wintertime. It's freezing. We didn't get enough where it was like we didn't get no ice this year. So it's like, let's go party, and like that's what we did.
And you guys had a straight bender.
Yeah, that was like
was
that was like pretty much every weekend for like the whole winter. But yeah, it was cool. I mean, obviously it's not as fun as gator hunting, but
That is true.
dude, you really did point out that I'd have gator blood still all over
Gator
me.
blood still on both of us.
Yeah.
Olivia's the only one that showered. We just cleaned 2 gators, 9'11" and a 9-footer, and ate a couple pieces while we were filleting up the other one, and now we came back, transferred all the camera gear, and now we're here.
Yeah, here, yeah. Well, I don't even know this Apple Watch is dead. It's been
Mine
dead.
too.
It's
Mine
been
too.
it's been
Mine's
dead
gone
for
already.
72
It's
hours.
almost 11,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you leave
Yeah.
in 5 hours.
So yeah, I just saw that my flight board's in 5 hours. But anyways, yeah, I mean this whole weekend's been kind of crazy. I think I woke up at 4 o'clock, I was here by 9, and then we were straight on the run from then. So it's been 72 hours of no sleep, and a lot of fun.
Yeah, barely any sleep, barely any water.
Yeah, but yeah, seriously, I just took a piss, dude. Like bright yellow, like it was bright yellow. Like I need to get some like a drip IV bag in me. So,
All you've been drinking is Minute Maid.
dude, I love lemonade. Like I'm down here right now, so I'm like, it's like, all right, I'm not on vacation, but like I'm in Florida, so like I'm gonna do me.
Yeah.
I'll go back and I'll go
I
back.
do have to say this has been one of the funnest of weekends out of all like the troubles and bad things that happen. I don't think you can go wrong with catching an alligator off a john boat, being towed around with no motor, catching another alligator off of a drone,
Yeah, that was
using
sick.
a trouble boat on the drone and snagging them off of there, finding 2 pythons randomly while you're gator hunting,
Yeah,
coming home, catching 3 iguanas at once, throwing them in the house and having them run rampant and scaring everybody.
Buddy, yeah.
Actually had a girl terrified for about 3 hours, locked herself
She
inside the
barricaded
bathroom,
herself.
herself in there. And then going back out, catching more alligators, missing a ton of bass, snakeheads. What else? Did we
yeah,
miss?
that was an action. It was definitely an action.
Nearly getting
packed
hit
movie.
in the head by a bird.
Oh,
at one
almost
point.
Yeah.
Almost getting my finger taken off by a gator.
Almost getting your finger taken
All right, so
off.
like that's one thing. Like, all right, so this is how that even happened. Isaiah was telling me how to pose on this one thing. He's like, all right, one hand this, knee
Yeah.
here, and the gator started getting his energy back. And like, when I say I trust Isaiah and the outdoor, like when it comes to that shit, because we don't have that stuff up in north. Obviously, like we don't have like you can't just walk out of your house and get like mauled by a gator.
No.
So like, you really got nothing to be scared about out there. But when it comes to that stuff, like I trust them, and like I still do. But the thing is with these animals, like those things can just snap on you at any second. Doesn't really matter. Like, and you can get caught lacking. So
The sad thing is the same thing happened to you is the same thing that happened to me 4 years ago.
yeah, in that
The way
video,
that I got bit was we had actually killed ours and we're taking the photos, and I was the last person to take a photo, and the nerves just grabbed and it ticked. And the same thing happened there. For 48 minutes we took photos. We looked back at the camera roll, and you can see for 48 minutes we took photos, and not a single time did the alligator flinch or move in any direction, while 11 people got on this thing's back and moved. And for the last one, Joe just said, you know what, I want a picture showing the alligator in front of me. I said, okay, you're going to put yourself in harm's way, but the way you're going to do this is you're going to put your hand there in the right, and you're going to hold it, and you're going to hold him out. And if he moves, you have somewhat control to slightly push him away while you come back. and Joe puts his hand in that spot and literally is bending down to put his knees down. And while he's doing that, the gator comes at him, snaps right here on his face, and he has his finger in its mouth where you're supposed to hold on to it, but it crimps and literally smashes his finger, and he throws himself back and gets out there. But when none of the cameras were rolling, but nobody sees it, the gator was within 3 inches of his face.
Oh,
and he was like, "Nah, I don't want to mess with this one. I'll mess with another one, but this one here, nah, he already almost got me once. We're not grabbing him again."
Like, look, how I was raised, like, you know, it happens once and you get out of it. Don't go back into danger, man.
We had a couple close calls.
Dude,
We had one guy get cut with a knife.
Yeah, that was bad.
Another guy stuck his hand in the jumbo into the mouth of a gator, thinking that it wouldn't bite him, and somehow the gator didn't close, which you have video of. You can see
Yeah, I had the video. Maybe I could pop it up here.
Yeah, you can see the hand in the gator's mouth, and the gator just continues to roll and doesn't bite down. We had a guy get knocked out.
Brandon
with a paddle
with the oar, started death rolling.
You know, all around a certain individual, there's kind of a trend happening here with injuries, but you know, stay a little far away from Orlando.
Yeah, nothing good happens.
You know, and that's another funny one too. Is like we're gonna get into it, but that poor kid Brandon couldn't find a place to sleep the entire week.
Dude, when we saw him roll out of the truck this morning, dude, I was like, dude, there's a bed right there.
The first night he was on the kitchen table. Like, I woke up at
Wait, he sleep on the kitchen table?
I swear he was like sleepwalking or something. And then I just hear something like a thud in the kitchen. I thought he dropped something, but then I like peeked in and he just knocked down on the kitchen table, like on the corner.
She woke up at like 4 a.m. to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
And she looks out from the bathroom. He's on the kitchen table, knocked out asleep.
Nah, couldn't be 4 a.m. because we got in at 6 a.m.
No, this is the next. No. Was it the first night?
No, it was the first
night.
night.
Had him the first
night.
Oh, that's right, because
he went fishing. We got home at 6 a.m. and this kid goes fishing.
He went fishing in the kayak.
I was like, dude, I'm going to sleep.
When he came back, I guess he just like threw himself on the couch. Poor kid. And then, like you said,
the couch was like this big.
Yeah,
the couch it's not even. It's smaller than the one that you're on.
Yeah, literally.
And he had his. It was kind of funny too. Like he had no pillow, no sheet, no nothing. And the house was really hot. Like the house did not get cold at all.
There was no
but at
air
the
running
same
through
time, he fell asleep with his back down and his feet in the air in like fetal position. And I wake up and I'm just like, "Yo, you good?" And he's like, "I'm fine. I can't sleep." You know? And I'm like, "He's like, are you sure?" I was like, "That doesn't look comfortable." He was like, "No, I sleep like this. It's all good." I was like, "All right, no problem." He's like, "Oh, I caught a couple snakeheads."
Yeah.
I was like, "When?" And he's like, "Oh, when we got back, I couldn't fall asleep, you know, and I just went in the kayak and I was throwing the crankbait and I got 3 snakeheads." I was like, "Dude, you're capping." And he's like, "Go look in the garage."
Yeah.
And it's like, well, this is another thing too. Like the people are gonna see it when your video comes out. We went into an Airbnb and put an alligator in the garage.
Two of them.
Babe, we had 2 pythons, 3 iguanas, and 2 alligators in that garage at one point.
And a snakehead.
Yeah.
And 1 snakehead.
Thumbnail should be, we put a gator in an Airbnb.
I think we're the first one to do that. Like,
yeah,
it's
it has
not
to
what
be.
we wanted to do by any means. Like I said it to everybody. Like if we catch only one the first night, we have to release it. And this is like another thing too. People don't realize majority of the people that go gator hunting, they dispatch of their alligators in the water.
Yeah.
Like I have yet to see very many people. Like they'll do it with small gators, but we bring 10 footers, 11 footers out of the water, up onto the bank, up onto the road, take the tape off. So now he's completely, dangerous again. Take our photos, and if we want him, we'll keep him. If we don't want him, we'll release him. And that's the nice thing about the way that we do things is like you can catch one that has a big head and underestimate it. Like the first one, everybody was saying under 8, ended up being a 9'11".
Yeah, pretty much 10 foot.
Basically a 10-footer.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, no, it's under 8 feet. It's got to be like 7'10", 7'11", 2 feet bigger than everybody thought. And, if you do that, you only have 2 tags. And you're only allowed to go for one month of the year. And this is one of the funnest things for us. So we don't want to misgauge a gator, kill him, and then be like, damn, we just kind of like...
blew your load, yeah.
Yeah, blew, And the other thing you saw, the gator was only bigger than the other one that we caught by 11 inches. He has about 80 pounds more meat on him than the other one. I mean, the girth on it alone was way wider. Had a way bigger head, way bigger shoulders, cheeks, legs, tail. Everything was way larger, even though it was only 11 inches bigger. And that's why we always said we want the 10s. If we can get them, we can get the 10s. Unfortunately, this year we got a bad area, but we still made the best of it. You know, definitely the drone was, I think, the highlight of my time, and then getting in the jumbo and getting towed around was awesome. But at the same time, you know, these areas loaded with gators sometimes, not so many gators in the others. It's hunting and fishing. It's the same thing. You know, you deal with the cards that you're dealt, and we still got it done.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's about hunting. I always say, like, same thing with fishing. It's called fishing, not catching. So, I mean, you're hunting.
Oh, we went catching.
Yeah, we definitely did. We I mean, the drone thing was probably the coolest thing.
Yeah.
It was so like poetry in motion. It was like drop, bang, and obviously we thought we lost it, but my inexperience actually helped us out a little bit.
And then, you know, this is your first time gator hunting, and like we'll be able to go back in the video and see it. The way you were able to handle yourself with your first time, you did phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, we saw other people there that was their first time, and we were criticizing them because it's like we're trying to tell them how to be better, and they're just not taking the points that, you know. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I have done it for the last 5 years. Yeah. I've caught an alligator since I was little. You know, my mom is here. She can testify that, you know, first time I brought an alligator into the house, I was probably like 8 years old, and she was like, hell no, out. You know, so, you know, I've been doing it for a lot of years. It's just, you know, we're getting into a bunch of larger ones now that we're actually able to hunt them and, you know, keep them and things like that. But you did phenomenal. You know, you were casting. You got good at casting pretty quickly. You understood that, and like they were going in it thinking they're going to get in there, catch gators, and walk out. This is not how it is. Like, these animals have been hunted their entire lives in these areas. You know, that people, like, especially from Florida, they go out fishing. A gator will swim right up to them. That gator's never been caught by a human being, never been hunted by human beings because it's illegal in those areas. You go to an area that they get hit every August and September, and a gator grows up in that area and sees that, okay, trucks are coming in, and that's another thing too. Trucks are not allowed in this area. You know, these gators see trucks and they understand that, all right, they're after me. Just like we saw the gator that we kept, every time a truck passed by it, he would go down for 30 minutes. Yeah. And it was extremely difficult this time of year. Every gator knew what it was doing. And I told you coming into this too, is like the reason why we love it is because it's extremely frustrating and it's not easy. And a lot of people don't do it because it's not easy. And we love it because it just makes that so much more rewarding.
Oh, yeah. I mean, dude, like, for me going into it, like, I wasn't nervous because I don't get, like, I'm not scared, but I have respect. I came in here wanting to, like, learn. I really want to learn how to do it because, like, I want to be able to do it for continuing years and obviously just have that knowledge. And when people ask me questions, I want to be able to tell them, like, this is how we do it. Like, I really want to be able to tell them. So I was like, obviously, there's no other person than you to really learn. And that's why, like, I really absorb. I just, like, I ask you questions the whole time. Like, yo, am I doing this right? Like, how do we do this in this situation? Just because, like, I know at any situation you can get messed up. Like, I mean, in a blink of an eye, you know? So, I mean, I was very fortunate to have you guys teach me how to do that. Obviously, I look forward to doing it for more years to come. And
I'll tell you what, you did pretty well. You know, based off the second one that we got with the drone, we parked the truck. We both went in super quiet. We spotted him. You know, nobody did any yelling. Nobody stood up. Everybody, you know, and the way you did too, like, you set the hook perfect. You know, you waited for everything that we told you. You followed through 100%. And the only reason why we have that second gator brought home was because of you. You set the hook. He came off. You reeled it back into him. We went in the john boat. You gaffed him. We brought him to shore, brought him up. If it wasn't for you, we would have not had that second gator. And they went another 8 hours hunting and could not find a gator big enough. They ran into one that was larger, about 11-footer. And, you know, my brother forgot to cast at it. You know, like, you're gator hunting and you forget to cast at it. You know, and, you know, he got too close to where he couldn't make a movement and his kayak ran into it and disappeared. But the gator that you're taking home, too, that's your gator. Yeah. That's 100% yours.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. I mean, the whole process of, like, you know, stripping it and stuff like that, I mean, that was really cool, too. But obviously, you got a bunch of questions, like, obviously probably people want to hear it too because they see all the stuff you do, but like obviously like you don't get to really talk about it and explain it. So I feel like it's a good opportunity for you to really get your story out there. So I mean, I guess we could just talk about like what was like the craziest thing you ever like did besides gator hunting? Because I mean that's pretty intense.
See, everybody always asks me that. I don't think anything I do is crazy. I think it's all normal, to be honest.
To us, but to others, maybe not so much.
Bro, I caught 52 rattlesnakes in my backyard last 3 years. You know, things that, like, you know, like I could say that I've been nearly attacked by, not truly attacked, but nearly attacked by sharks 4 times. I've gone out python hunting and gotten, you know, 12, 16-foot pythons. Gone gator hunting, got bit by an alligator. That's probably one of the crazier ones that people don't know about. Like, I got bit by an alligator 4 years ago. Nearly been bit by a water moccasin that had grabbed my shorts, and I grabbed it by the tail and ripped it off, and didn't bite me. I had a heart surgery when I was 2 years old. A lot of people don't know that. I'm not supposed to be alive, but I am. And instead of doing things to make sure my life gets prolonged, I'm doing the exact opposite and chasing everything that can kill me. So there's just a lot of things that have happened in my life that it doesn't seem crazy. Versus if you talk to my mom, she would be like, "Oh, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is I'm out of fingers." You know, like, you know. So ask away. You know, a good portion of the stories you can ask about, and this is another thing too. Olivia's been with me for a year now, and she has been on every single trip that I've done. So she's seen a lot of things too, and it's not crazy for either of us. It's just fun. Like, she was there with us gator hunting the entire time, and if it wasn't for Orlando, she would have been in the John boat with us. Like, you know, she's next to me at all times, and she loves all of this.
No, I think that's freaking awesome. Because I mean, like, what else is like having? Like, I think I said this in the last like YouTube video or something I filmed. Like, my girlfriend likes to go fish and stuff, so I'm like, if you have somebody that can go do that stuff for you, like, that's like the awesome thing. Because I feel like a lot of guys are like, "Oh, I'm going fishing," like, give them a little hard time about it, let them go, and I'm like, don't come back on the right time, and they're just giving them an earful. Like, that ain't a way to live, man. Like, you got to find somebody that like really supports what you're doing, especially like the stuff we do, man. Like, I just traveled, and I came here 72 hours. I'm back home. Like, and that's how a lot of the things go. And I think like having that support system, like I have Maddie, like she really supports that, and I think it's cool that you guys have that, and like, you know, like you have a lot of knowledge and experience, and she's been doing a lot of like duck hunting and fishing her whole life in New York. I think it's really cool that you guys can like do that, and he can teach you, and then you can teach him some stuff too, because like it's a little different up north too. I mean, with that cold weather, man, it's hard to bear out there.
For sure, yeah. No, it's really different. Like, you know, it's not the same. Like, I mean, but still, like when I came down here, like this, like you said, the stuff he does, I don't find crazy at all, because you know.
Yeah, I think that's sick. Like, honestly, like I'm kind of jealous, because like when I'm up north, like I'm I run out of things to do. I'm like, damn, like. And I go on Snapchat, and Isaiah's like out there on a freaking like a 30-foot boat. I'm like, mother trucker, dude. Like, come on, man.
Too, you know?
I'm like, I need to come down.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you know, there's a good thing to start since we're on relationships. Mine and Olivia's first date, we went out to go catch chameleons. You know, and we caught a bunch of chameleons. Our second date, we went python hunting. Our third date, we went offshore. Our third date, we got stranded offshore for 16 hours with no engine.
Is this when you messaged me on? Your mom messaged me on Instagram, and I called you like 20 times, and I finally get a call back. I'm like, yo, are you alive? Like, are you alive right now?
We were chilling, and you know that's another thing too. Like we talked about the last 3 days. We've talked about how it's important to be competent and like able to do things. And since me and her gotten together, like I used to have a really big friend group. And I've really been cutting down people. And I love meeting new people. Yeah. But it's hard to put yourself in situations where it's important to be in tune with every part of your being. Because if you don't, people get hurt. And we saw that this weekend very, very clearly. You know, who we can trust, you know, ourselves with and who we can't. But as well, like on that fishing trip, I knew from that day on, I was like, damn, Olivia's a trooper. We got stranded, and the moment it happened, it's like, okay, this is our situation. You know, we threw the anchor out. We got set, got the coordinates, started sending the, you know, an emergency, signal like every 15 minutes. the other 3 guys were with start panicking. And especially one, he was seasick. I will give him that. He's actually a hardcore shark fisherman, but he just got extremely seasick, and I don't think any of those guys have been put in that situation before. And, but Olivia's like, can we fish? I was like, we're not on the wreck, but yeah, you could fish for 20 minutes and then catch anything. I was like, can I get you anything? Life jacket so you can like lay down? She's like, no, I'm just gonna sleep on the floor. I'm good. And the other guys are like, are we gonna get picked up? I was like, guys, my mom knows when she wakes up that I got a float plan. I gave her the wreck that I'm at, this and that, whatever. Set up a float plan, and we're gonna be fine. Even if nobody has our signal, Coast Guard would be out here about 2:00. And me and Olivia, I told her that. She had saw when I made the float plan, and she had complete trust in me. And sure enough, around 2:00. We finally got word on the radio that help was on the way, and that they're about 15 minutes out. And we came home, and she came fishing with me a week after that. So to have trust in me to not knowing me too well, and we took her out there, and we caught fish. But an unfortunate truth is that on boats they break down. And she didn't hold that against me. Instead, she's like, "Can we go back out?" That was huge for me because she didn't complain. She was she fought those fish pretty hard too, and I just knew that she's like she'd be willing to go through the bad as well as the good, and still want to go out, because this world's not all roses and sunshine. You get gator teeth, blood, and mud sometimes.
Yeah, that's the price you pay. But so like we've obviously met kind of like through social media, and like that's a very interesting topic. I like to have this conversation with people that are also like in the social media field. Obviously that's kind of like our livelihood with that stuff. And like, I don't know, like when you meet new people like through social, did you guys meet through like social media? Is that how you guys met? Social media?
Yeah, that's how we met.
All right, so that's dope. Like, that's cool. I think I knew that, but if you guys didn't know that you guys met, so did he shoot your DM or you shot your shot?
So I shot. It's not that we shot our shot at each other. It actually happened into it. Turns out, I'm not gonna expose her, but she had followed me before I, followed her, and she's like, "Yo, this guy's pretty cool. Like he does all the shit." And he's like, "Oh, he lives in Naples too. Her grandmother has a place down here, and she would come for the summers." And we didn't know like mutual people or anything like that. And she just popped up on you should follow this person one day, and I clicked on her profile. She had just posted a picture of her holding an alligator, and I was like it's not season, like that's the first thing that caught my head. I was like, It's not season. Like, what the heck is she doing? And then I realized it had its mouth taped, and there was like an actual place that you can hold alligators. And my entire time in Naples, there's never a place that you can go and hold an alligator. Like my entire life, I always wanted to do that when I was younger, and it just wasn't. So for people that wanted that, I was like, damn, like where's that place at? So I followed her and I messaged her that day, and I was like, where is that? Like, she's holding parrots, alligators, and a couple like cool things. And my thing is I just love interacting with animals. So if I can share that experience or give it to somebody else, is kind of what I wanted. And that's how it started. She just told me what place it was, where is that? And I was like, oh, well, I go python hunting right by there. I never knew they had that. And first thing she says, like, I would love to catch a python. And I was like, well, it's not really time for it right now, but when it comes time, like, I would invite you. And we just kept in touch. I found a chameleon spot here in Naples. And I was like, you should come. Like, it's not pythons, but if you like reptiles and stuff, like, you should come. And the moment we met, like, we kicked it off. She has a video saying, like, I just met the love of my life the first day we met. And I went home and called my brother, and I said, yo, I found the girl that I'm going to marry. And he's like, dude, shut up, this and that. What I was like, no, I did, like, And I sent him pictures, and he's like, all right, let me know in a month. And I was like, all right, no problem. And here we are, a year and 2 months, or no, year exactly, nearly. And we, I asked her out on the back of an alligator a year ago. And then we just got engaged this month as well.
Yeah,
so we're in it for a long haul, definitely. And believe that we're gonna have a lot more wild stories to come.
Oh, for sure, man. And like, I mean, you guys are always up to something, which is sick. Yeah. I mean,
so busy.
I mean, there's always something to do here too, which is it's awesome. So it's like kind of like endless, but yeah. But like, anyways, like how you guys, so how we met is through Nathan, and you hold on, and you guys met on Fortnite. So on Xbox,
on PS4.
PS4, they met on PS4, and I met you through Nathan Speltz, N.A. Speltz, which is the craziest thing in the world because I didn't know that until like we were like the next day after we hung out.
We
Nathan's
were
like,
shark fishing when you found out.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, we were on like a chat room, and I subscribed to like his YouTube channel. I'm like, this is the craziest shit. And I try to explain this to people in my area, like, how do you meet these people? I'm like, well, this one's a little different because we didn't meet on social media. I met Nathan, so I guess.
So the way that me and you met was like you said, me and Nathan had gotten a random match on Fortnite.
This is crazy.
And when we were a lot younger, we were younger teens when we met. This is like when Fortnite first came out and we played video games. I was still in school, and I forget what he's like. He's like, yeah, this is my last game. I'm gonna get out and head on the boat. I'm gonna go fishing. And I was like, well, me too, dude. I'm going shark fishing now. What are you doing? He's like, dude, I've always wanted to catch sharks. And I was like, he's like, oh, I'm gonna go try catching some smallmouth or some bass. And I was like, all right. And he's like, where are you going? I was like, oh, I'm going to Marco Island. He goes, dude, my family has a place right in Naples. I was like, well, I live in Naples. And he's like, dude, give me your Snapchat right now so we can keep. Got a Snapchat. Got put in. This is years before TikTok was even made, and we talked back and forth but never met. Next thing you know, TikTok becomes a thing. We all blow up on there, and he messaged me. He's like, hey, I want to come down. So we took him out. Met, we caught like 3 sharks that night. Took him to the Keys. He caught a tarpon, some sharks. We had a really good trip when he came down. And then years go by, and he messaged me. He's like, hey, I'm coming down. I got a couple friends. We want to do the same, crazy stuff. We want to get on sharks and everything like that. And I didn't even know who you were.
Yeah.
He just told me he had a couple friends coming down. And this was 2 years ago, or was it last year that you came down?
Last June.
Yeah, it was last June.
Yeah.
So you came down, and literally the way that I met you was you just walked into my door. And you're like, yo, I'm Joe.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I'm Isaiah. Nice to meet you. And it wasn't like we had any previous knowledge of who we, each of us were. The most you got told was that, yo, I got this cool guy in Naples that catches cool stuff. And that was it.
Yeah.
But we hit it off great.
Hell yeah, we have fun.
We're literally the same. We're pulling pranks, throwing grasshoppers on Zuggy, throwing a blue crab on Nathan.
Yeah, I think when we were in Everglades that night, we kind of got a lot of respect after certain situations that happened. I don't know if you want to talk about them, but
you could pull the one. I know exactly which one you're talking about. I handed you my gun at one point because we got a little sketchy.
Yeah, so in Everglades, it's dark, no signals, no nothing, and there's a lot of sketchy things that go in through there. So we're python hunting, and you could take it away. Go ahead.
Not too many people know about this stories, but when I had my BMW and used to go python hunting, I pulled up on a drug deal.
Yeah.
And I did not own a gun. I had a knife with me, and I had just caught my second python ever. And it was a road more towards Naples. I had never gone down it. Nobody ever told me. It's near some farms. And I pull up on this dirt road. About 3 miles in, there's an Escalade and 2 BMWs.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, oh, what's going on here? And I used to drive on the hood on the top of my car with the sunroof down, and I used to drive with my feet. So they see me pull by, and 11 guys get out. 2 of them had guns, everything like that. They ask me what I'm doing, and I'm sitting on my hood, or on the top of my car, and I'm like, yo, I'm python hunting. Like, what's a python? It's like, I caught it's snakes. Like, it's like, snakes, this and that, whatever. They say I'm a liar. I tell them, open the hood. I pop the trunk. They open the cooler, and the guy falls on his back. And he's like, there's a snake in there. And sure, they went from, being really suspect of who I was to being my best friend, pulling me on their Snapchat and everything else. And I don't know if it was a drug deal, but why else would that be happening? I didn't see any product or anything like that.
Yeah.
But after that day, I was like, I need something.
Yeah.
So we go down, fast forward 2 years, we're hanging out. We hadn't seen a car the entire night. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
And we're driving. And usually when you're python hunting, you see a hunter from very far. We have the brightest lights possible. All of a sudden, within 100 yards, headlights pop up. And it's not like we were on an S road. We were on a straight road called Loop Road. Many people know it. And it's not an S. It's a straight road. It has one turn on it, and that's it. And we were nowhere near that. And the lights just turn on. The guy was just in the middle of the road. And I go, yo, that's kind of suspect.
Yeah, I don't like the way that looks.
I go, everybody, if you hear one pop, everybody duck. I'm flooring this thing into reverse, and we're getting out here, or I'm flooring it past him. I go, Joe, here's my gun.
Yeah.
I go, I know you can shoot. And I was like, well, no matter what happens, like, this was going to happen. Nothing happened. You know, it ended up being another, you know, hunter that might have been out walking around or something. We'll never know because we never talked to the guy. But, you know, that was one of the situations that we had just met. I was like, yo, here's my 9mm. Just in case something happens, I'm flooring it. You take care of it from the back end. Here's 30 rounds.
Yeah. It was funny because Zuggy was in the car too.
Oh, Zuggy. This is the funny thing too is I say that and I hand the gun over and Zuggy goes, "Wait, are we being serious here?"
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, and he's like, "Why?"
I
was like, "Yo,
I don't think he's ever seen a gun.
Getting our car stolen."
Yeah, I don't think he's ever seen a gun before. And the next thing you know, like I'm cocking this thing back, and I'm like, "What do you got the gun for?" I'm like, "Well, if we had to shoot this guy," so he's like, "What?"
We're going to.
Yeah, I'm like, he's like. He literally sat there with his head down and was just like, I don't know what he was doing.
You know, I always rather always be prepared.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing. You know, it's here in my house. Here's another thing too is like, we'll come right back to it, is like, but here in my house, we used to have goats and 2 of our goats got eaten by panthers. We've had people in our yard. We've had people, you know, slamming our windows before. You know, you don't want to use that thing, but at the same time, you don't want to get mauled by a panther while you're doing farm chores in the morning. You don't want to, you know, we have hogs here. You don't want to get run over by a hog either. Those are pretty dangerous. And like I said, I caught 52 rattlesnakes. So it's not like something like, I want to shoot a person. It's like you kind of have to have something nearby at any given time because you never know what's going to happen.
No, I mean, dude, like my thing is like I'm going home tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I'm going home. So it's either you or you, because I'm not.
Ain't gonna be me.
It ain't gonna be me. Trust me. Like that's the one thing I'm gonna make sure of that. Like I'm always over precautious. Got tons of guns back at home. Like my family's very. Look, we're gonna protect the house. We're gonna protect everybody around us. I mean, we were shooting guns young, so. I get it, and especially here, you got a lot of things that can kill you, not just people. You got
the thing that can kill us is our dog. We got a Belgian Malinois that is a meat missile and a half and just likes to gnaw at anything. But she's a great dog. I love her.
Right? How'd you like come up with Salty Adventures like that?
So we were talking about that today. Salty Adventures came up. I was working for a dock company, and I was like, I really, really would love to do something other than sit at a desk every day and draw docks that are going to hold fish that I'm never going to get to fish. And I was just thinking about it for a long time. And I was, I was throwing names around. And I get home and I tell my brothers like, yo, like I'm thinking of names. I got like 15 names down and I can't really, go on anything. I'm going like Saya's Adventures, fishing like this, and I couldn't literally land on anything. And my mom goes, why don't you use Salty? And I go, ooh, Salty Adventures. And I was like, that's awesome.
It was hard.
Awesome, because I really wanted SA. Like even before I had the name down, I wanted SA, because I just loved, a lot of my nicknames always been with an S, and I just liked the way that SA looked, how I drew it. When I was sitting at that desk, I drew SA. And I was like, I just want something with that. I couldn't find what that was. And then it landed on Salty's Adventures, and I was like, it's true. At the time I was doing a lot of saltwater fishing, and it just stuck. And I really enjoyed it. I have the original paper in my room where I did all those doodles, and I found my logo. I got a guy to do it, and I sent it to you, and now you have helped me out, and you've made my shirts, and literally me and Olivia, all we wear is our shirts together now. Yeah,
no, they're slick. I mean, I like the logo. It's like simple, clean, and it like just gives that whole like outdoors, like Florida, salty just vibe. Because like when I look at that logo, I'm like, all right, I'm definitely thinking saltwater. I'm thinking like Everglades, like pythons. Just because I mean, you made that brand known that it's like this is what it is. Like, and I think that's the coolest thing ever. Like literally, anytime I'm like, so I'll give you a story. Like I was in upstate New York. I was pretty much Thousand Islands, down there. So I was like pretty much on the border of Canada. We got an Airbnb. It was like a apartment style thing. So it was like a garage converted. And we got back to our boat, and the guys were drinking around the boat. We're sitting there talking, just guys being guys, and they're asking us what I do, and I was like, yada yada yada. That's what I do. I was like, caught a python with my boy Isaiah, and I literally showed him. I was like, first off, you got to see this kid's Instagram. And I showed them, they're like, holy shit, like, and they just immediately followed you. I swear, like, anytime I tell people, I'm like, yo, if you want to see some like crazy stuff, like, interesting stuff that you're not going to see normally, go follow. I'd say.
Yeah.
Like I send them my review, and then they obviously if they want to go like offshore and like charter, I just send them to Jason.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Is like mine and Jason's relationship has started. Our friendship over the last year and 3 months. And the way we met was that he blew me off completely the day we met. Not many people know. We went fishing in 2 different boats. Got back at the same time at the marina. I asked him what he caught, and he goes, nothing. And, I was like, nothing? I was like, what are you guys fishing for? Fish? And like completely didn't want to give me any information, which all fishermen are like that.
Yep.
But I knew who he was. And I was like, all right, no problem. So I ended up texting him later, and I was like, yo, you get home okay? Because we got out to the dock at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, yo, just let me know when you get home okay. And he's like, that was you? And I was like, yeah, that was me. And this is before like I had any kind of following on Instagram. We knew of each other.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, my bad, bro. I didn't mean to be a dick. And I was like, that's all good. I probably wouldn't have told you what I caught either. And he's like, did you catch anything? I was like, yeah, but I ain't gonna say now. And I'm catching a tarpon that night, and my biggest snook, a 42-inch snook.
Yeah.
So, but he came back a week later, invited me to go fishing. We had a really good permit bite that day, and when we got back to the dock, our other friend Nathan was like, yo, I just got this chance to go to the Keys. And we're like, all right. And off a whim, us barely knowing each other, like we just us 4 knew of each other. Jason and Walker were best friends. But we all kind of knew of each other. We went down the Keys, went fishing for swordfish, ended up catching tunas, mahis, lobster, a ton of things, and just had a great time. And ever since then, we've been best friends. And he's a phenomenal fisherman.
Oh,
like you guys have gone fishing with him, and we talked about it yesterday. Is like if you're going with Jason,
you're getting on fish.
You're getting something.
Yeah.
He's a young kid, but he puts people on fish.
He knows
really
every spot.
And he just got his boat today too. Like
Yeah.
It's brand new Orion.
That thing's sick.
Really nice.
Yeah, it's sick. I mean, he's hustling. He's doing his thing. I wanted to get him on the podcast. I'm probably gonna come down like the next couple of months and get him on there.
Yeah.
Because he has an interesting story too.
Oh, I mean, he just cut his finger off.
Yeah, yeah. Like I got a lot of it.
We just took him to Costa Rica. He decided to crash a bike. Every time he's in Costa Rica, he seems to flip a motorcycle and bust his face open.
Probably should stay up for motorcycles. Stick to the boats.
That is true.
Yeah, you know what I mean. That's why he's not used to brakes.
That and Danko flay knife.
Yeah, seriously. That was funny. We were in Walmart. I just sent him yo, you need
salty. Put you up to that.
Yeah. He goes, yo, send a picture to the diver about this, and I was like, all right. I said, yo, is this a good flay knife? I'm trying to flay some fish, trying to do a catch and cook. He goes, salty put you up to that? And I was like, nah, dude, I just want to know. I'm trying to flay some fish right now.
He's like, yeah, they're sharp.
He goes, they're sharp if you want to cut your damn finger off.
Yeah. Well, he finally has a little bit of movement in it now. Not fully, but I mean, from the moment it happened that I told him he has the potential of losing it till now, I mean, it's been 4 months and he still barely has any movement, but he cut 2 tendons.
Yeah, dude.
And severed 60% of his finger off.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I give him props for...
He's lucky to have that thing.
Yeah, very lucky for still having it and still fishing with it.
Yeah, good for him. What's your, dream catch?
We talked about this last week. I asked her, and she had, 5 fish off the back. Honestly, I have to say there's no dream catch. I think every fish has to be caught for me. As of right now, I think I'm really on a swordfish. And this is another thing too. Is you asked us about it yesterday. Me and Olivia, we don't like hiring people and going out. If we have the opportunity, we'll rent a boat or whatever it is and go out there and figure it out for weeks. So for swordfish, I have gone after them for 4 years. I refuse to get a guide or a captain and go out there and just be taken to a spot and guaranteed catch. I refuse to do that. I bought all the gear. I bought electrical reel, which is not cheap. I bought the rod. I've put a ton of hours into it. I've gone out, caught the bait, and I've gotten 4 hookups, and I've lost all 4, but that's sword fishing. But it's something that I really want to get, and they get to 1,100 pounds and massive. I think the biggest one caught in the Keys was 750 pounds by Captain Nick Stasnik, and true behemoth of an animal. And they fight for hours.
Yeah, I've seen videos. I've obviously never hooked up into one, but
that's definitely next. I would love to catch bluefin tuna, GT. We talked about
GT.
I
want to catch a GT bad.
But I have my this year I've knocked off sailfish, giant mahi, yellowfin tuna, I really want to get an 8-foot tarpon this month. Me and her talked about it. We want to go out out here in our waters and get a true 200-pound 8-foot tarpon. I've caught small ones.
That'd be gnarly.
But it's time to get my 8-footer.
A big boy. Yeah, that's sick. Yeah, I don't know, what animals do you want to capture?
We need to get the world record python.
So the record's what, 18?
19
right now? Yeah, just got 19.
On the dot. They just caught it. The guy got the world record last year and went out again this year and got the world record again within a quarter mile of where he got the last one. We've been going for a year straight and we just had bad juju. We found hatchlings. We found dead ones. We had a 9-footer, 8-footer to 9-footer in front of us within 300 yards, and we're slowly cruising. You can't see him until they're right in front of you. You're trying to look as best as possible. And a hunter he had finished his night, steamrolling, trying to go home, passes us 300 yards in front of us, slams on his brakes. You see two people get out, walk out, and grab this thing. We speed up, pull up to them, and they shot it right there, and ended up being a giant python. It was just like a really healthy female. And it's something that we both enjoy doing is going out there and looking for these. And you get skunked.
Yeah.
10 nights in a row, you get skunked and you won't even find natives. But you get one night that it's really hot, really humid, and there's just snakes everywhere. And it's really nice to just, even like our native wildlife, you grab green water snakes, banded water snakes, even water moccasins. We get big water moccasins. And you hear stories of people say that this water moccasin chased me. No, they don't. Mm-hmm. Things hold their ground. That's why the rattlesnake says, "Don't tread on me." Any venomous snake's not going to chase you. They hold their ground, and if you want to come play,
yeah, they'll dance.
They'll hit you.
Yeah.
But they're going to give you a chance. My mom stepped on a rattlesnake. I've stepped on a rattlesnake. We've, like I said, we have so many around our property, but venomous snakes are not out to get people. And me and her, we got a really large one. That I was able to handle freehand and touch it and hold it and release it, and those are like little Hershey kisses that you get on the road because you're out for a python, and that's that's the golden nugget. But you get these little surprises along the way, and it's really fun. And then you find baby alligators. There's owls. There's so much wildlife out there.
That's like when we were python hunting. Like we found, I think the Everglade rat snake, right?
Yeah, we found a rat snake, a corn snake.
We found a couple frogs. We found some gators.
A ton of frogs. A ton of grasshoppers.
Yeah, oh yeah. Those armored things, man. Zuggy loves them.
Blue crab out there.
Yeah, really blue crabs. Too. Yeah.
Was it with you that? No. It was with another guy. Mike Rari, I grabbed a peacock bass when I took him python hunting.
That's sick.
I free grabbed a peacock out of the river.
So you guys got now we're starting to see signs of some like green anacondas. So like that's interesting.
That just came up. 2 anacondas were caught here in Naples. Now we don't know if there's a population for them because they were completely 2 different sizes. I don't know what sizes were they. They just said they weren't. They were both juvenile potentially, and I haven't done too much research on anacondas just because they've never been in our area.
Yeah.
But any snake that goes like super big usually has like a slow breeding process.
Yeah.
Except for the Burmese python, they breed every year and they breed within like 2 years. But my understanding is, anaconda's the apex predator of its spot. I'm hoping it's slow growing, but yeah, they just popped up. And if that's the case, we have a breeding population of green anacondas here.
Yeah.
That's gonna be nuts.
Yeah.
Because they're
aquatic. Yeah.
So if we have rock pythons taking care of the trees, Burmese pythons scavenging water and land and trees, and now green anacondas taking out everything in the water, we're kind of screwed.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be pretty sketch.
Yeah.
I mean you gotta stay out of the water at that point because they're gonna go after you.
That's the other thing.
A 30-footer, 25-footer, like
yeah, and that's another thing too. Is like, all the state officials are trying to say that the Burmese python hasn't really moved that far north.
Well, we just found them.
We just found one next to Okeechobee.
Yeah.
We found 2.
2, yeah.
Which means that the mother laid eggs and they hatched, and now we have 2 hatchlings. They didn't just go all the way from Everglades up to Okeechobee. They're established. We ain't getting rid of them anytime soon. And that's another thing too. Is like, That snake grew. I had one snake, and he grew 5 feet in 4 months, and he ate 56 rats in a month.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So if they can eat as much as they want, they're gonna grow big quickly. And our native wildlife is trying, but they eat alligators. Like like there's documents of them hunting alligators. There's one alligator that was like 12 foot. It might have been like within 10 to 12 feet. That a python ate it, and then like I was telling you yesterday, alligators can hold their breath and slow hold their breath for about 2 hours because they slow their heartbeat down for 3 beats per minute. And this python actually ate an entire alligator, and then it was plain dead basically, and went into that state of slowing its heartbeat down. And what a python does is it will coil around you and strangle you until it really doesn't feel any movement. So this gator kind of went into this state that it pretty much fell asleep and went into this 3 beat per minute kind of thing. Python swallowed the entire thing, and then the gator woke up in its stomach, started fighting it from the inside out. They ended up both dying from it, and the gator ripped a hole in its side, and the snake was ripped in half, but the gator died from it as well. So it's crazy to think that a giant gator like that died. They both died. It was a clash of colossal giants, but it's still crazy that 2 apex predators went out of it, which you got to hold today, and you said it too. It's a little dinosaur to hold in. And it's hard. They're not easy to kill or to catch.
No.
And it took 3 guys, a john boat, fishing rods, harpoon, grappling hook, then 6 guys to bring a 9-footer up onto the bank to get it, completely worn out. And yet a snake did it all on its own.
Yeah, that's
so it's.
And now
they're not easy to like. Oh, like I just caught a snake. Like no, like these things are powerful.
Yeah, and then you add the 30-foot aquatic snake.
Yeah,
that's aggressive as hell. That's like that's something we should all like really think long and hard about.
Yeah.
And because like obviously like we know probably how speculations how the Burmese is being farmed and stuff like that.
Yeah. There's a bunch of speculation. At the end of the day, no matter what it goes to, it really goes back to Andrew.
Yeah.
Hurricane Andrew. There was a ton of, zoos and snake farms that got decimated and their entire collection got out. I mean, there was a time that there was king cobras in Miami.
That's crazy.
And they all got either killed or, taken out just because there's not their kind of prey out for them. But, you're talking about a snake that was easily able to adapt is, the Burmese python. But there's areas here in Florida, like we caught chameleons. There's places to catch black caiman. There's just invasives all over Florida. Here in my own yard, I have chameleons, and I didn't even bring them here, but there's togay geckos. When we moved in here, there's a togay gecko, which is a giant 11-inch gecko, and then we go in our backyard, there's plenty of bugs, animals, but reptiles kind of get the heat of it just because there's so many. And then iguanas, we caught those again. Those are another invasive species that are pretty bad here.
Well, I think it's great because I think Florida is probably the most climate-wise close to like Amazon rainforest type style, like so you get the humidity, you get the mist and everything, the swampy, marshy areas, like so it's very adaptable for a lot of these. I mean, if you guys had like monkeys and stuff,
we have monkeys.
Really?
Yeah, we have monkeys. Monkeys escaped the Naples Zoo, and they're on Shell Island.
A tiny little tribe.
Yeah, there's a little tribe here, and you go fishing, you can.
What kind of monkeys?
I don't know. I don't want to get close to them. I don't really like monkeys that much. Dude. But in Fort Lauderdale and Miami, there's a section that they have signs, don't feed the monkeys, and we have a friend that goes out there and feeds them and takes photos with them. But they're the Ebola monkeys, they escaped.
Yeah.
And
that's crazy.
Those were from a lab that they were doing, tests on. So we have monkeys. We have, you say it, we probably got it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that you had monkeys.
We found out there's water buffalo. Regular buffalo, water buffaloes. What's some other crazy things? There's a ton of fish. I mean, almost all of our fish at this point are invasive species. We saw today the kid threw a cast net.
25
plecos in one cast net. And then he was like, can we eat these things? He shows up to the house when he's supposed to be helping us cutting up the alligator.
He was like, I fish.
I got fish. And I was like, bro, it's going to be something stupid if you brought a 5-gallon bucket. And he's like, yeah, I threw one cast net. I was like, it's got to be like tilapias or something. Opens it up, dumps them on the floor. 25 plecos walking around.
He's
like,
just in there smashing her friend. He's just having so much fun. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? They're invasive anyways.
Yeah, he's supposed to be helping us, flay up this alligator.
Oh my god.
And he's with a mallet
chucking
smashing
him on
these
the
things in the head.
concrete.
And he's like, I can't fillet them. Even though I showed him how to fillet, it's super easy. You stick. They're not an easy fish to fillet.
No, they're like armor plated.
It's alligator food. Literally, the only thing they can eat them is alligators. Nothing else can. That's why they're everywhere. You stick your knife all the way through. You grab it by the head and you slice straight down. If you miss meat, you miss meat. But that's the only way you can fillet those things. Like you saw me today. I'm good.
Yeah, you're in tune. Yeah, for sure.
I have cleaned almost every animal here in Florida, and if I pay a lot of respect to that to fishing, just because you have to be so good so you don't miss any meat. Yeah. And like we talked about that too, and me and her very good on this is like another tangent. Is we don't kill something for fun. No. If we take something's life, it's to eat it.
Well, I think if you kill something for fun, you might have something wrong with your brain a little bit. It might not be firing all cylinders,
We had those 2 pythons last night, and we didn't want to kill them. Yeah. We all felt bad, but we had to do it.
Yeah, we had. It's illegal.
But at the same time, it's like it's a foot-long snake. Like you feel bad. Like that
it's
snake,
a baby.
That snake is innocent at the end of the day. Like it didn't do anything. It's just here because of us. It's not here because of itself. It's just trying to survive. So it does feel bad. And they're like we were holding them. They ain't biting us. They look. Now
they're chilling. They're chilling. Beautiful snakes.
They're like perfect pets. But they do grow 20 feet long.
And they do decimate. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even at like 6 foot long, it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
I mean,
5 foot.
They grow so fast, so quickly. Yeah. Nothing can eat them. I mean, the only thing that eats them is birds of prey, other snakes. Like the water moccasin, actually, they've been documenting that the water moccasin's actually eating a lot of hatchlings. That one that I showed you today probably has been feasting on a ton of snakes. Yeah. Water moccasin is the only snake that they've caught on camera, actually hunting down rattlesnakes and eating them. So it's actually pretty cool that they do that. No,
that's sick. That's definitely cool. But that's cool that we also have our nature's adapting to that and is trying to overcome the situation.
The Everglades has a way of ever changing, and it's trying to find balance. It will eventually, but it's a marshland. There's other things. We have panthers, bobcats, raccoons, other birds, things that will come in and try to help out. But I mean, python's a apex predator in itself. It's hard to take out. So it's going there will be a day that they're here. They're here to stay. There ain't no getting rid of them. But we'll start seeing a lot of the wildlife potentially in the next coming years focusing on pythons and like predating on them. But for right now they're introduced. A lot of our animals have never seen a python before. If they are, it's probably because they're getting killed by one. So yeah. Speaking of raccoons, what is your fear of raccoons? You'll hold a gator, you'll hold snake, but a raccoon freaks you out.
Everybody says that. They're like, you'll hold a 10-foot gator or like a freaking python, and then like raccoon. I don't know. It just freaks me out. I just never liked them since I was little. I don't know.
Well, probably because in New York, they're like running through your dumpsters and stuff like that.
Yeah, I had a lot of them in my front yard. My dogs would fight them, Yeah. I just don't like them.
We always find them in dumpsters around me.
We saw so many yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I know.
The last 2 days, there were
over like 20, right?
Yeah, we saw over 20.
The big ones, too.
And we were tempted. It was like, I could shoot it.
My buddy eats them. My buddy Tate, he eats everything. He ate a skunk.
I'm good.
Go look at his TikTok, dude. He anything he traps, he'll eat it. Try it.
Here's another thing too. I'm a phenomenal cook, and I like my mom's sitting right there. She'll tell you. She's like, she has a to-go bag. It's called Isaiah. I don't need much to go out in the wilderness, build a fort, and survive. But there's some things that unless I'm hungry, I ain't gonna touch. And I promise you, getting sprayed by a skunk ain't worth eating.
I'm telling you, bro. He said it wasn't good. He said it tastes like crap. But I mean,
bad cook. I can make anything taste good.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a weird. I mean, it was on YouTube and stuff like that. He always like when anything he traps, he'll cook it and try it out and like do a whole video on it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But he's funny guy. Does a lot of funny different stuff with chickens and stuff, and he's minnow trapping and then gators sometimes. He does it all. Dude.
That's awesome.
He's cool. He's from Kentucky. He actually worked with us for a long time. He works with Google now.
I do respect anybody who's willing to go out there and change the norm to what you can eat, because Americans have this pre-notion of it. If it doesn't taste like chicken, we don't want it.
Yeah.
And we all kind of got, I don't know, what's the word here? Fancy with meat. You know, once Americans came here, it's all cheeseburgers and chicken sandwiches and Publix. Especially here in Florida, it's Publix.
Yeah.
But we go out there and our thing is like we want to know where our meat came from. Fish, hogs, even snakes. I cooked up the python for you,
yeah.
and I didn't have a grinder. And we threw in a blender. A ninja blender. And we made it into mush meat. And, it was kind of chewy. If we would have had a grinder, it would have came out amazing. But it still tasted great.
Hey, and we tried different cuisines, like, that's cool to me. Like, I don't know.
And people squirmed at it. And it was like, oh, I can't believe you're eating that. And the same way I said, I can't believe he ate a skunk. But at the same time, we had gator today. Gator was really good. It was kind of chewy. If we had a tenderizer, it would have been great. But, literally while we're cutting up this gator, cut a couple pieces off, throw in the fryer, mixed it with some sauce, and it was great.
And we're chilling.
Some French fries. It was a really good dinner for us. But we don't really turn our nose away from things. I asked her, like, would you eat this? She's like, if you make it, yeah. And you're the same way. If I cook something for you, you ain't gonna turn your nose to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the cool thing about everything that in the last 2-3 years for me is opportunities that have arisen from what I've been doing and the people I get to meet. So anytime I get to go see people in different cultures, because it's different from the environment I'm from. So down here, different vibe, or I'm going out west or something. That every vibe's different, every cuisine's different. So I'm trying everything. I think that's one of the coolest things. I'm never gonna say no. If it doesn't taste great, all right, I won't do it again. But if it tastes great, hey, look, now I bring it back to people that I know. I'm like, hey, you gotta have the opportunity to try this, or maybe I could bring it back for you or something like that. I think that's the coolest thing. It's I get to get so diverse, and I'm sure with you, everything you do, you get to do the same exact thing. You're always traveling and doing different things. You just got back from Costa Rica not too long ago.
Fun.
That's cool. That's something I actually want to do. But
we're talking about it for next year.
Yeah, and you get to do all those different things. It's you can attest to it. It really gives you a full experience to live life. That's the coolest thing.
I have to say that I'm truly unique in a certain aspect. There's millions of people out here who fish. There's millions of people out here who hunt. There's millions of people that cook. There's very far in between of people who can cook, fish, and hunt. But to be good at all three and actually be passionate about all three, I think there's a certain few that people are like that. I love, and I cannot tell you how much I love to go out there, catch something, be the one to butcher it, prepare it, and cook it, and make it good, where I invite people over. It's always been a thing of ours that, I've been cooking since I was a child. I cook for the entire family, and I got really good at it from an early age, to where my mom would set out chicken. She's like, make mojo chicken and rice. And I'm just like, I cooked that twice this week. I want to explore. Put on Gordon Ramsay at, 6, 7 years old, and be like, he's doing curry chicken. All right, well, let's try that. And my whole thing is, and I've told her before, if I've eaten something once, I can recreate it. I'll sit there for an hour tasting until I get it right. But if I had something once, and she could, we went to a curry restaurant the other day, and I told her, I was like, if you ever want curry, I can make that for you. And she's like, no, you can't. I was like, yeah, I just gotta look up the ingredients, and I can make sure I get it within pretty close of that. And she's like, all right, well, I want pepper pot. All right, no problem. I made pepper pot and never had it. And she's like, that tastes exactly like it, but if you were to put the peppers in it, you would have had it spot on. And that's one thing a lot of people don't understand is I'm a phenomenal cook. And I take pride in fishing, hunting, or like that, but I take just as much pride in cooking.
No, I can attest to that for sure. I've had your food.
Yeah, so it for me too is we talked about it, is we want to go out, hunt game, take it home, and enjoy it. Yeah. And that's our thing is taking care of animals, giving them respect, and eating all of it. You see a lot of these people that go on and they'll do a YouTube video and they'll eat the prime cut. Yeah. And it's I've seen that video so many times. Like, why hasn't like we saw today? You know, we caught that gator, and it was like, you ever seen somebody eat the tongue? And it was like, there was one guy that just posted a video of eating the tongue. I didn't watch it. His name's Blue Gabe, really good guy here. You know, really good guy actually. We talked a lot. You know, never hung out or anything like that, but you know, talks to a lot of his following. He's pretty big. You know, but he's the first one that I've seen cook the tongue. You know, so going out of your comfort zone and trying to do things that other people don't do is important. You know, like today we were all talking about, like, do we eat the ribs of an alligator? I say no, you know, just because you don't want to penetrate the organs on the inside.
Right.
And you saw me, I filleted all the meat off those things, and we have rib meat there for fajitas and jambalaya. But doing things different, you know, on a deer, everybody does elk, you know, or not elk, you know, venison backstraps. You know, when have you ever heard anybody doing anything with the front leg, the neck? You know, there's a ton of meat in that neck. You know, that, like, I always said that too about her. Is like, I would love to get that and just like slice it, you know, with a saw, and make like really good like Dutch oven meat out of that. Like, that would be phenomenal. But I could sit here and talk about recipes for a long time. I'm like thinking about all the recipes I can make.
Mouth
right
starting
now.
to water,
That's
dude.
awesome.
Like, you know, I mean, there's a lot of things that, like I said, people don't do, or there's the norm, or they're scared to venture out. And I think, like, you know what you do. Like, I mean, I learned a lot just by doing a gator day, like all the different meats and stuff like that. I didn't realize they had that much meat on them.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, like, I just thought, like, I know a lot of people go after just a tail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's where, like, all the good meat is. But I mean, there's
just
so
as
much.
meat on the rest of the alligator that there is on that.
No, there's a lot. The whole thing's meat, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
I mean, we broke it down to the bones. Like, we
You-
literally.
Yeah, if you think about it, it's about 50% of its body weight is waste. When you take the head off and everything like that, between the organs and bones, you're looking at 50% yield and 50% waste. So not as much as like beef or venison or anything like that. There's a lot more yield on those. But, you know, you hear a bunch of people's like, oh man, like the tail. And that thing had a ton of meat on the back. His cheeks are massive. He had a bunch of belly meat, all 4 legs. And then, like, you saw the jelly roll. Like, that jelly roll is prized. You know, the color of that meat and its tenderness is phenomenal. But even like nobody even knows about the tenderloins on the inside. You know, I went above right next to the lungs and took off the backstraps, or not the backstraps, but the interior tenderloins. That a lot of people would throw that away, and that was a piece we ate, and that was great. You get those prize cuts, you put them in the freezer, they're good for a lot longer. But things that are usually thrown out, and you saw me too. I sat there for stripping the bones of all the meat because, you know, why waste something when you can eat it?
No, seriously. I mean, I don't know, dude. I like gator. I think it tastes like chicken, a little tougher, but it has a little more flavor to it, actually.
Yeah,
I mean,
tenderize it.
I think it's just really cool to, like, just really just kill that gator and then just eat it right there.
It also
That was, like, the coolest thing.
That one also only had like 4 hours of ice on it.
Yeah. I know.
Wow.
Sitting in a garage at 86 degrees
In
with,
Miami.
Like, that's another thing too. Like, the Walmart bags were supposed to be 7 pounds.
They were like 3 pounds.
Of
Like,
ice.
literally looked like someone just took, like, an ice machine and just
Yeah.
and just sealed it.
You know, I'm not gonna sit here and say we did everything perfect for that. You know, we did what we could in the situation.
Our
we were
conditions,
given.
yeah.
But, you know, I'm sure the larger gator is a lot more tender just because that meat's got to relax.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we killed that thing was killed and eaten within 11 hours. It was killed 7 o'clock this morning, and we ate it at like 6, 7 o'clock. What time were we flaying up? You know,
Yeah, 6,
yeah, like
7. Yeah.
6 to 7. We were already eating it. So, truth, you should have put it in the refrigerator. That meat, you know, untense. It's a reptile as well. It's not.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
another thing.
reptile.
It's a reptile. Like, they're tense and their meat still moves for hours after they're dead. So you're supposed to chill it, tenderize it, do a bunch of things to it. You know, we were literally cutting pieces off of it and frying it up right there. And, you know, giving it no chance whatsoever to relax.
Yeah.
But it did taste great. Like, you know, there's things that you can do. You're taking some home.
Yeah.
Like jambalaya, fried gator nuggets. You got tail.
Yeah, I got a good amount of meat.
meat
I probably got
fajitas.
like 5-6 pounds of meat, something like that. Yeah.
It's taking it home on the
I'm gonna mix it. Yeah.
airplane.
Yeah,
He's
that's gonna be
he's
good.
gonna go to TSA tomorrow. They're gonna be like, "What's this, alligator?" I'm
Welcome
like,
to
no,
me.
what is it?
Well, you're gonna think with the podcast crew. When I was
Alligator.
coming here, I was coming
Oh,
to the
that's
airport,
right.
and I come through the TSA line, and like I'm through, and like my all the podcast gear is coming through, and they're looking at it, they're pointing, like, it does not look good because, like, obviously you see the way these mics look. And then, like, you can see the cords, and I'm like, oh, shit. Like, I didn't even think this one through. I'm like, I hope they don't just come up. Because I've been through a TSA line where, like, they did, like, a random check, and they start, like, patting you down and stuff. You look like a suspect. And I'm like, dude, I don't have anything. He's like, you want to do this right here? I'm like, yeah, like, pat me down. Like, I don't care. I'm not hiding anything. Scanning my fingerprints and stuff. But with these things, and then I got gator meat. Like, I didn't even want to bring the knife back with me, so I left. I was like, screw this, dude. I'm going to jail.
No.
I got to get back home. I got work to do. Like, I got a lot of shit to do.
We pulled into Bass Pro. You got your knife, and I'm keeping it here for next time.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty good knife. We sharpened it up. It flayed an entire alligator.
Dude, I love them Kershaws. I have a Kershaw from high school still that I've used to say tip broke off it, but, like, dude, they're one of the best knives in my opinion. Best bang for their buck.
Yeah, not bad. I mean,
yeah,
it would have stabbed an alligator if one came at you.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, it's like about to catch a flight in like 3 hours now, so I think we're gonna shut this thing down.
Okay.
Pretty beat, but I don't know. You got anything else to say?
No, can't wait for you to come back.
I can't wait to come back. I hopefully come back in a couple months.
When you come back, we have to get yourself a shark off the beach because we didn't get one last time.
Yeah.
We already caught a python. Now you caught an alligator. What is some things that you look forward to catching?
I want a tarpon.
Yeah, tarpons.
I need to catch a bigger snook because I mean the snook that I think like 24 inches. Like it's nothing crazy.
You're on par with Olivia right now.
Yeah, I mean I guess we're in the race. We'll see who catch the bigger. We'll do like a 1v1 snook fishing challenge. So you catch the biggest one.
Yeah,
we stay away from challenges, man. We'll go. How about this? Something that me and her do is we go to the beach, and it's never guaranteed. Well, there's some big snook. We saw. Like,
I know you caught that big one recently off the beach.
What was that one? That was
on the surf.
Yeah.
But we went a week after that one. There was like a 46-inch snook. On the beach. It was the biggest snook I've ever seen, and he didn't want to eat nothing, and it was a log. And I was just like, babe, we need to catch bait. And no matter what we caught, it didn't want it. And it was just like that's an absolute being. But I don't snook fish much, man. And I got a friend, Robbie Summers. If he's watching this, you can go on, and he can put you on some big snook offshore. And if you want to do that, you can do that. But other than that, I want to kill a hog with you. That's what I want to do.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah, we can do that too.
Thing I want to do is take you hunting. Because now we've taken care of saltwater, freshwater, and now we can take care of the land. Yeah. And the only problem is I got a panther eating everything right now.
Well, we'll take care of him too.
Unfortunately, no. He's got a collar on him. He's getting tracked by FWC every single day. I want to see if they can't come out here and trap him, but at the same time, this is his land too, so he's got to eat. It ain't his fault.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I guess if you got to eat, let them eat, right? Just not your own prized possessions.
It did take a goat, which is messed up. It took Mimi. So
what was his name?
Was it Mimi, or was it? Huh? It was Salty.
Salty.
No, what was the name before that one? Salty. It was Salty? Oh, okay.
Did you have Pepper too?
Yeah. Her brother was Pepper.
What happened to Pepper?
He got sold.
Oh, I thought he got smoked too.
He went to a Haitian party and got turned into stewed meat.
Yeah, well, either way, he would have got
a little bit of pepper pot.
Yeah. Pepper got peppered. Damn. R.I.P.
Yeah. But I appreciate you coming down, man.
No, dude, I appreciate it.
Fun time.
It's always the hospitality, man. I love being out here. I love coming down doing fun stuff. I'm always down. So
we got 3 big trips planned for us. We got a potential Australia trip.
That's gonna happen. I mean, I don't know how soon, but we're gonna set that.
When it happens, we don't know, but
it's in the works.
Me and Livy are definitely down for that one. We're definitely gonna do Costa Rica next
year.
year.
I'm down. Yeah, I'm definitely down for that.
Be around, well, we won't say when, but we want to go for marlin, yellowfin tuna, and sailfish for that. And then you're going to be coming back to here and hanging out with us again, and then potentially tarpon if it's around this time.
Yep.
There's so many tarpon right now. So, but we'll definitely get you on it. If it ain't this year, this friendship's going on for many years.
Yeah,
so
you just give me a call. You give me a week notice, and I'm here.
Well, I give you a 3-day notice for gator hunting.
Yeah, I was here. Yeah.
So pretty good.
Quick trip, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
It was worth it. I have to say by far.
No, that was 100% worth it.
4 days awake and 4 or 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah, I'll get plenty of sleep when I'm dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, hopefully it ain't anytime soon.
You have the flight at 5.
Yeah.
You're going out.
Yeah.
You have to do some filming work.
No.
You're taking the girl out.
No, I'm coming off the boat. She's picking me up. We're going to my house, loading the boat up, going to the lake.
Yeah.
Because I promised her, so I can't break that promise. So,
so you're going fishing. Right?
Yeah, we're going fishing.
You don't even get to take care of your jet lag. You're going right back on a boat.
Yeah, and then I'm coming home, and then I got to go film for my mom and my sister at their studio. Then I'm coming home and then editing.
Yeah.
So
and then you know what's gonna happen once you get home? You're not gonna be able to edit. Then your dad and mom are gonna ask for some gator, and you're gonna have to cook it up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to tell like I'm gonna have to go into the studio, and everybody and their mom and sister already seen the pictures of some of the stuff, so they're gonna be asking me something. I'm like freaking on repeat all day.
How's your finger?
Dude,
before we get off,
it's not bad. Like
it was really bruised yesterday.
Dude, it was. It's kind of better. I heal quick, but like the one thing I will say when that gator did bite down, the adrenaline was obviously bumping, right? So like,
I mean, you did the right move.
I got really quick reflexes.
Yeah.
That's like one thing I was blessed with. I don't know why. Like I'm like Spider-Man sometimes. Like, but I've been bit a lot of times too, so that might be. But I was scared to look down because I knew the adrenaline was pumping and I didn't know how bad it was because I felt the crunch, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the power of that jaw is insane.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I looked down, and all I was thinking is like, all right, Sam's hand has to be worse. Sam's hand has to be worse. I looked down, and there's like a cut right there. There was like some skin, and then like I could tell it was swollen. Yeah. But I was like, all right, this is. Yeah, it could have been worse. I was like, I just hope like when adrenaline runs off, it doesn't sting like a bitch. But I mean, it was hurting a little bit when I would like come down to the joint because that's where it was. But it's chilling now. It doesn't even hurt. I mean, I can feel it a little bit. But
as long as you're good.
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, I got my digits, so we're good. That was the one thing before I left. Everyone was like, yo, I kept making a joke, like, make sure you don't get bit, because I always get bit by everything, So I was like, well, I got kind of bit, but not really. Like, it would have been bad.
It would have been
real
not
bad.
Worth it to get bit.
Dude, it would have been bad. Like, that would have been.
My bite.
We wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
My bite went through my middle finger on the top side and came down the bottom side through the joint. Now, I have nerve. If I were to, like, press on something hard like that, my hand spasms. So I got bit. My brother got bit, and he was saying it. You heard him. He's like, "Oh, I want to go in the kayak. I can't wait till I get bit." It's like, it's like, dude, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, I'm not trying to.
He's like, no, dude, I got bit by a 7-footer. It's not big enough. And he went on that kayak and through all those little tiny creeks, and he went solo. And we saw that on his Snapchat the next day. He was running over alligators, and he was just like, "Nah, not big enough." Nah, not big enough. I want to get bit. Not that one.
Nah, I'm good.
And then we caught that little one, and he's like, whoosh, sticks his finger right in it. He goes, "Ow, shark teeth!" And it's like, dude, this thing's made to kill. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, nah, not me, dude. I'm
it's
good.
Not worth it.
It's not. No, I gotta use these to edit and fish and everything else.
I'll tell you before we go. You know what the worst thing I got bit by out of everything? Like I I didn't get to tell the story, but like. I got knocked off a kayak one time by a shark. Didn't get bit. I got another shark that charged me, and I grabbed it, threw it over me. It was like a 7-foot lemon shark. Didn't get bit, but they've ripped all the skin off my thighs before. I've showed her videos
from their skin,
just from their skin, bleeding like crazy. The worst accident that I've ever gotten, more than that alligator, was a basilisk lizard.
What even is that?
A basilisk lizard's nickname is a Jesus Christ lizard. You've seen them probably on like National Geographic. They run across the water.
Oh yeah.
So that's it. So we have them here. It's another invasive species. While gator hunting last year, there was one at a gas station. I threw a lure at it, ate it, got it, reeled it in. Not looking at my brother, trying to take the hook out of its mouth, ripped over, and from I think it was my left hand. From my fingernail all the way down to here, split all the way down to the bone. Little lizard, gushing blood, barely couldn't, hunt, 2 years ago, and had to basically was handicapped. Out of everything that I've done, that is the worst thing that's happened to me and animals. Been blessed by God to not get more injuries. Been a little close calls here and there, but out of all that. Out of everything, I mean, you talk about over 100 alligators I've dealt with, plenty of sharks that I've, me and Olivia were chasing a shark the other day actually on the beach, no hooking it, just like trying to see if we could grab it by hand. But out of all that, the worst injury I have is a little bite on my thumb from a lizard. So I'm still gonna be going at it, still gonna be chasing all these things, and we're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, man, that's what it's about. I mean, you're very cautious when you do your stuff. So like, even though we're like you're like going after it, you're having a mental checklist through your brain like at all times.
Yeah, and you saw too is like we talk about worst case scenarios before
It happened. Yeah.
And if this were to happen, this is how you take care of it. If this were to happen, this is how you take care of it. And me and my brother don't really get along in a lot of things, but when it comes to fishing and hunting, and kind of like the violent side of things and animals, we understand each other and we don't trust anybody else with ourselves, because like this is another thing too is like those people that we went out this weekend, if we were on the bank wrestling with an alligator and we saw it too, is when you make a motion, the other alligators come out. They're all hiding, but their instinct is to, when they hear commotion, is to come investigate, because they don't know if another gator has a hog and is fighting a hog. They come in. We've all seen National Geographic when a crocodile takes down a wildebeest. So you never know if an alligator comes from your side, and you're focused looking straight down. Nobody's really looking out for eyeballs. And after we caught that first one the first night, there were 6 gators that moved in.
Yeah.
And we caught one little alligator, and it did the call like 4 times, and all these big alligators came in. Now, they all spooked the moment we got ready to go catch them, but you never know if like somebody gets taken down by another alligator. And it doesn't take much. You felt the power of those things. They on like solid ground, they win against a standard person. So if they grab you by your leg, your arm, anything like that, you get ripped in. The person who's next to you can't wait a second. They have to hop in with you, and it becomes this thing like they have to grab onto you, because the gator's first thing is going to go is the death roll. So the person who gets bit, depending on where they get to get bit, they have to like kind of like bear hug this thing so it doesn't rip their limb off. So me and my brother, we've talked about it, and we know when that goes on, we need to be like in the area, because you have like 40 seconds. I mean, the human body, once it's being attacked, go underwater, you're gonna lose all its air.
Yeah.
We saw the alligator blow like 10 gallons of air out while we were fighting it, and still was fighting for 15, 20 minutes. But we got 40 seconds of scream. You're gonna scream. You're not gonna get a good breath on the way down, and you're done.
You're gonna swallow water.
And that's the way they do things. Is they grab things. Something screams, they get yanked in, and in 30 seconds that thing's dead. And they go pin it under something. They'll leave it there until it starts to rot, and then they'll eat it. Because it's too tough for them to eat it by themselves. So they'll wait a week for it to rot, and then once it's soft, they'll eat it. So we've talked about, me and my brother, that if that were ever to happen, what it goes on, and we practice that in our minds, and we're always ready for it. And we keep knives on us, we keep nines on us, and everything else. But my brother goes in, no knife, no weapon, no nothing, and nobody I'd rather trust that when that happens, that he's next to me, because I know he will jump in, and he will grab that alligator. And I know that me and him will be able to fight that underwater together and come out. And if he gets grabbed, same way. So we have a lot of trust in one another when it comes into that. Obviously when it comes to like working and things like that, we don't get along. But that is my brother, and at the end of the day, we have a lot of respect for one another, and we go hunting and fishing all the time. And we're one of the best duos you'll ever see.
Man.
But he is crazy.
Yeah, that's for sure.
He does want to get bit.
Yeah.
And that's all right. That's his thing.
That's his thing, man. And, sometimes it's what it is.
We grabbed onto the pythons, and he's like, they don't bite? Why don't they bite? And it's but and he's got a laugh too. Like if you ever get to like go with him, you heard a little bit last night, but shark fishing, he starts talking to the animals, and it's so funny. He'd be like, hey. He started like laughing weird, but when he's around sharks, like it's mainly predators too. He becomes alive. He loves them. He becomes a little kid, and we'll grab on. He has a video that he has about an 8-foot bull shark that he's walking back and forth in the surf, and he's like, "You put up a good fight there, huh? But I put up a bigger one." And he's like, "You got all them teeth, and not a single one got me." It's just man, you're good. But he's another person. He's got a couple like really good stories. I told you about it.
Yeah.
If you ever get him on the pod, he has a really good boat action.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. Yeah.
World class. I think it's worth of a book. Him and my brother capsized with my dad, and they have a really good story. Now that if he wants to share it, that's up to him. But that's a world class one. He's got his own gator bite. He's got his own stories. There's a video of him holding an alligator by the jaws, and he's laying down. We had no tape. He's got it on his chest, and a spider walks across his face, and he lets go of the alligator, and he's like trying to find the spider. And you saw when the gator realizes you're not expecting it, they go after you. And for like 15 seconds, he's like, "There's a freaking spider on me," and then he's like, "Oh crap, there's an alligator." So he's got his own stories, and you should definitely have him on the pod.
Yeah, definitely. Next time I'm down here.
Stories. And then I have so many stories that we get to. We were on a time crunch, so we kind of flew through this, but definitely the next time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We'll have videos that they can see too, everything else like that. But
yeah, I'm down.
For right now, we do have to go.
Yeah, definitely have to go. Yeah, it's 12:15.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I really gotta be on a flight in like 3 hours. But anyways, yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
We'll have it down here shortly again.
Yeah, I'll be back down here soon, so that's not too worried about it. But appreciate everything.
Anytime.
All right.
Hospitality is always welcome.
Signing out.
Peace, boys.
See y'all.